Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. In the heart of the universe, where time flows like golden rivers and stars sing in ancient tongues, there existed a fragile boundary between realms, a sacred accord that separated the dominion of the Aesir from that of the Olympians. For eons, this unspoken truce held fast. The Norse gods ruled the cold northern cosmos of Yggdrasil, while the Greek pantheon reigned over the sunlit peaks of Olympus. But peace among immortals is a thread stretched too thin across the void. It began not with war, but with whispers, tales carried by ravens and echoed by oracles. Odin, the All-Father, had seen something that disturbed even his impenetrable calm. In his throne of Hlidskjalf, where he gazed across all realms, he foresaw a storm unlike any Ragnarok. The vision showed the cosmos split in twain, Olympus burning, and Yggdrasil weeping golden sap as a thunderbolt shattered its trunk. A bolt forged not by the storms of Asgard, but by the fury of Zeus. Troubled, Odin summoned Mimir's spirit from the well of wisdom and consulted the Norns. Each vision grew more chaotic, more violent. A single name kept surfacing, echoing like a drumbeat across the roots of the world tree: Zeus. Meanwhile, atop Mount Olympus, Zeus sat brooding on his marble throne, his master bolt humming with restless energy. A strange imbalance had entered the skies. Weather patterns faltered, lightning storms flickered unnaturally, and mortals whispered of wolves that howled beneath blood-red moons, omens not from his realm. Hermes brought word of a magical force influencing fate itself, weaving chaos into the loom of destiny. The source, all signs claimed, came from Yggdrasil. Suspicion bred arrogance, and arrogance ignited fury. In a grand conclave beneath the celestial dome, Zeus confronted Athena and Apollo. "They twist the roots of fate," Zeus thundered. "Odin hides behind riddles, but I will not be bound by another's prophecy. Olympus bows to no one." Apollo, the god of prophecy, hesitated. "Father, the Norns speak only in threads. If Odin has seen your rise, perhaps..." "Then he fears it," Zeus growled, electricity crackling in his beard. "And if he fears it, he plots." Thus the gauntlet was thrown, not with words, but with power. Zeus sent a bolt of pure divine force through the cosmos, not aimed at Yggdrasil directly, but at the Bifrost bridge, the rainbow artery that connected realms. The bolt struck Heimdall's watchtower, cracking its base and disrupting the flow of travel between worlds. The All-Father responded not in haste, but in wisdom. Odin sent ravens Hugin and Munin to Olympus, bearing no threats, only a single rune, Azur. Azur, meaning war. Thus began the unraveling. The 9 realms trembled. Fenrir howled louder in his chains. In Valhalla, warriors sharpened axes, while Valkyries armed themselves with starlight. In Elysium, whispers of a divine invasion spread like wildfire. Hercules trained tirelessly, while Ares begged for blood.
Hey you! Don't just watch. Subscribe, please.
Odin, cloaked in grey and shadow, left his seat and walked to the edge of Ginnungagap, the primordial abyss. There he recited an ancient incantation that summoned the great seer Völva. "Speak, spirit of the void, what becomes of the cosmos when kings clash? One eye shall see the end, one bolt shall strike the root, and from ashes no tree shall bloom again." Odin closed his one eye and clenched Gungnir, his mighty spear. So be it. On the eve of war, Odin called forth Thor, Freyr, Tyr, and even the elusive Loki. Zeus, on the other hand, stood among his children. Ares itching for blood, Athena wary, and Hermes ever in motion. But Zeus did not wait. He would bring the storm to Odin's gates himself. So it was that the sky above the world tree tore open with thunder. Olympus itself bent toward the realms of the Norse gods, the veil of reality fraying as Zeus descended from a storm cloud of cosmic fire. His arrival scorched the upper branches of Yggdrasil, drawing immediate wrath from the forces of Asgard. Odin rose to meet him, not with fire, but with calm silence. The All-Father did not waste words. "You trespass, Skyfather. I claim what destiny has already given me," Zeus roared. "Your runes cannot bind me. Your prophecies will not contain Olympus." The air between them thickened with ancient magic and raw elemental power. Lightning danced across the bark of Yggdrasil. Runes glowed along Odin's arm like molten veins. Storm met cedar. Thunder met wisdom. And the ninefold sky cracked. But the battle had not yet begun. This was the breath before the storm. The moment when two titanic forces stared into each other's immortal eyes and saw no compromise. Only inevitable conquest. The worlds would tremble, the pantheons would bleed, and only one king of the gods would remain. The heavens split open with a scream of thunder as Zeus leapt from the storm cloud, landing upon the upper branches of Yggdrasil with a seismic crash that echoed through all 9 realms. The force of his arrival sent shockwaves spiraling down the world tree, shaking even the roots where Nidhogg coiled in darkness. Odin stood unmoved, Gungnir in hand, his one eye gleaming like a cold star. "You bring ruin, Olympian." "I bring judgment," Zeus growled, lightning dancing between his fingertips, "and no rune will save you." There were no armies, no allies, just gods. The moment hung like a drawn bowstring and snapped. Zeus charged first, propelled by thunder and fury. He hurled his master bolt with apocalyptic force. The air sizzled as the weapon forged by the Cyclopes screamed toward Odin like a spear of pure wrath. Odin spun Gungnir and deflected the bolt, redirecting it into the sky where it tore open a rift of lightning across the stars. Odin retaliated with a burst of ancient Seder, his voice chanting forgotten runes as time around him slowed. Zeus faltered, his speed distorted, but sheer will shattered the spell. With a roar, he surged forward, slamming into Odin with a god's wrath. The two titans crashed through the bark of Yggdrasil, fighting as they fell, through branches, through realms, through legend. Fists met flesh, power met purpose. Zeus's punches cracked the sky, each blow erupting in thunderclaps that deafened the heavens. Odin countered with rune-fueled strikes, each one pulsing with the force of ancient magic, embedding searing runes onto Zeus's divine form. But the king of Olympus would not yield. They crashed into Midgard like falling stars, creating a crater that swallowed mountains. Mortals fled in terror as divine energy scorched the land. Odin rose slowly, blood dripping from his lip, Gungnir glowing with deathlight. "You are strong, son of Cronus," Odin said, panting, "but you lack wisdom." "I don't need wisdom," Zeus spat, hurling a bolt that disarmed Odin with a thunderous blast. "I am power." He struck again, this time with both hands wrapped around his master bolt, unleashing a tempest so vast it parted oceans and set the sky ablaze. Odin raised his hands, summoning the might of Yggdrasil, trying to hold back the storm. But the force overwhelmed even the All-Father. Zeus descended like a meteor, grabbing Odin by the beard and launching him into the Bifrost. The rainbow bridge cracked and bled color as Odin hit its core. Before the All-Father could recover, Zeus was already upon him, raining down strikes that broke the spectrum itself. Odin summoned a final surge of magic, the might of the Norns, and the wisdom of Mimir, channeled into one last desperate spell. But Zeus, electrified with pure divinity, shattered the spell mid-air and drove his knee into Odin's chest, cracking his ribs. The All-Father collapsed to one knee. "I foresaw the end," Odin whispered, "and still I stood." Zeus's voice was thunder made flesh. "And still you fall." With a final roar, he raised his master bolt and struck Odin through the heart, not to kill, but to conquer. The energy exploded outward, casting shockwaves across all the realms. Yggdrasil itself groaned as branches blackened and the heavens wept lightning. Odin collapsed unconscious, defeated, not by trickery, not by prophecy, but by might. Zeus stood over him, scorched, bruised, victorious. The 9 realms trembled. The gods of Asgard watched from afar, stunned. Even Thor clenched Mjolnir in silence. The king of Olympus turned his gaze skyward. The age of thunder reigns eternal, and with that, Zeus raised his arms to the heavens, calling down a final bolt that etched his victory across the skies. His roar echoed across the cosmos. The king had claimed his throne not over Olympus alone, but over all realms.